One of the key aspects of any business is knowing what your strategy is, where you're trying to get to, and how we're going to get there. And the strategies aren't difficult. It's basically a roadmap, but it's a living roadmap and it continuously changes. And there's nothing as a perfect strategy, but the main thing is knowing the direction of travel that you want to go in.
And so strategy, the most fundamental thing about strategy is it's about choices. It's about things you choose to do something but not to do others. And if you do not make a choice, you haven't got a strategy. You're simply floating and moving along with the tide. So success is all about increasing the odds of success. There's no perfect strategy. It's merely a matter of trying to manage your risk.
The other aspect is actually thinking about uncertainty and dealing with uncertainty. And that's really what a strategy is there to help. It's to actually to minimize that risk and actually say, okay, what's our problem? Okay, how can we actually resolve that? Well, there's different possibilities it could be, and therefore you look at those different options and then say, well, okay, if that's to be true, what would we need to do? And then you test that and then move into saying, yep, okay, that's yes or no. So we move forward that process. So it's actually thinking ahead and thinking of different aspirations and how those aspirations can be met by potential barriers or potential solutions to those barriers. So it's a continuous trying of testing and understanding of different ways forward. So it is like a roadmap.
And the critical thing is you're setting scenarios. You're thinking about what would happen if this was the case? What would happen if that was the case? And that's the most effective way of trying to be a game changer as opposed to simply following what everybody else does.
And of course, it's not just to play, but you want to play to win. Because there's no use in business just to say, I'm just going to follow the others. Part of the game changer is to stand out and be ahead of the game. And therefore, it's really what that aspiration is. What's that winning aspiration, that goal, and where we want to play.
And that's the key thing, because there's five, as Dave said, there's 5 key questions. What is our winning aspiration? Where do we want to play? So that's going to be about what field do we want to actually play in. But also then the tactics about how will we actually win that game? What are we going to do to most effectively beat the opposition? Fourth question that flows from that is what capabilities must we have as a business to actually affect change? If we're going to achieve the goal that we've set ourselves and play the game that we want to play, what capabilities must we have within the business in terms of capital, machinery and labour? And the last question is what management systems do we need to have to be able to effectively know whether we're actually getting there, whether we're actually winning that game or whether we're actually achieving our goals. Those 5 questions all come from a single piece of work done by Roger Martin, who was from Rotten Management School in Toronto. Now, if you can answer those 5 questions about your business, you will have a strategy.
And one of those key aspects about the strategy is where you want to, as Mark said, where you want to play. But actually, being a game changer, you're what we call it in the blue ocean. You're basically creating an uncontested market. You're creating a new market, and therefore you're actually achieving open blue water. The other aspect is you don't have to worry about the competition, who may be stuck in the old ways. And so if you look at the supermarkets, where the big supermarkets have all of a sudden created new competition from low-cost suppliers, they just are stuck in the old, what we call the red ocean. You want to be in the blue ocean, where it's clear, open, and free. And therefore, creating that aspiration allows you to capture that new demand and new opportunity. And actually, pricing becomes almost irrelevant. You're not trading on low cost. You're actually providing a service that meets the needs of the customer.